channel Dentistry to the Point. If you're seeing this face for the very first time, hi, I'm Dentist Saloni Jain and we make videos related to dentistry on our channel. So in this video, we are going to discuss a very short topic yet a very important topic, that is xerostomia. Now this is a topic which you have read, or this is a word which you come across in various manifestations of various disorders, and it might come as a short note question in your oral pathology as well as in your oral medicine exams. So without any further ado, let's get started. Now talking about or starting with the introduction of xerostomia. So xerostomia is nothing but a subjective clinical condition of less than normal amount of saliva. Now since there is less amount of saliva or decreased salivary flow, so there is dryness of the mouth, and hence the disease is also known as, or the condition is also known as, dry mouth. Now it is actually not a disease, but it is a symptom of various diseases, or it can be said as a manifestations of various salivary gland disorders. Also, though the condition may sound very small, but actually it produces very negative, serious effects on a patient's life, like quality of life, like your dietary habits or nutritional status, be it taste or speech, or even increased susceptibility to caries and tolerance to various dental prostheses. Now moving on to the etiology. So the etiology can be classified into two types, that is your temporary causes and permanent causes. Okay. Now in the temporary causes, there are four kinds of causes or four kind of etiological factors, and you don't have to mug up them, they're very easy to understand. So the first one is psychological. Now as you know, here from the word itself you can understand or learn, and you don't have to mug up, because you know, like, psychology is a thing which is temporary. Psychology keeps on changing, right? Human mind keeps on changing. Psychology keeps on changing. So definitely it's a temporary thing. So psychology, like your factors like anxiety, stress, depression, these are the contributing factors for reduced salivary flow. Okay, like when the students undergo their exams, they face these factors, and there is decreased salivary flow. And usually it is seen that whenever you have to treat these psychological problems, so the drugs you take are usually, or they may contain some types of salivary inhibitors. So that's why it promotes xerostomia. So the second etiological factor is duct calculi. Now what these calculi do, that they cause blockage of the major salivary glands, commonly the submandibular glands, which causes xerostomia or dryness on the affected side, as well as along with it some kind of pain and even swelling. And if this condition is left untreated, then it may progress. There can be fibrosis. There is progressive fibrosis of the gland, and it can cause permanent xerostomia. Third factor could be sialadenitis, that is nothing but the inflammation of the salivary gland. Now as you know, inflammation, again to remember, is a temporary thing. It could be cured or it can go away. So again, sialadenitis, that is nothing but the inflammation of the salivary glands. And now these inflammations could be like any kind of thing which reduces the salivary flow, like acute inflammations like mumps, or even the post-operative parotitis, or chronic inflammations, that is hypersensitivity to iodine, or swellings due to nutritional deficiencies. So these kind of things can also lead to xerostomia. So the last temporary cause is drug therapy. Now there are various drugs which are known to cause xerostomia. For example, anticholinergics and sympathomimetics, which include your tricyclic antidepressants or bronchodilators or antihistaminics, which can cause xerostomia. Also, diuresis, that is caused by various drugs or alcohol, is known to cause dehydration and hence xerostomia. Since these are temporary, so you can get to understand that as soon as you withdraw the drug, the functions are restored again. Also, there is a newly introduced drug that is known as Zyban, which is used for smoking cessation, and it is also known to cause xerostomia. So these are the four temporary causes or temporary etiological factors for xerostomia. There is no mugging up, it's very easy to understand. So starting with the permanent factors, now a small trick to remember the factors are majors, M-A-J-O-R-S. Now something is permanent, there is going to be permanent xerostomia, so it's going to be big, it's going to be major. So a trick to remember, or the mnemonic to remember the permanent causes are majors, M-A-J-O-R-S. Now here M does not play any etiological factor, but since you cannot remember ager, so I have made it major. So M does not have anything. So the first A that comes in is your salivary gland aplasia. That is aplasia of salivary gland. The A stands for aplasia of salivary gland, and aplasia means nothing but congenital absence of one or more salivary glands, major salivary glands. Now this is actually a rare condition, but it is recognized as a causative factor for xerostomia. The second being your J. The J stands for Sjogren syndrome. Yes, I know the spelling starts with S, but for your remembrance, let's take it J, and J stands for Sjogren syndrome. Now, Sjogren syndrome is a separate topic and it will be dealt separately in a video in all much detail. But here you have to know that Sjogren syndrome is a triad of your dry mouth, that is xerostomia, plus your dry eyes and rheumatoid arthritis. So many patients, or almost half of the patients who have xerostomia, half of the patients who undergo or who have this Sjogren syndrome definitely has xerostomia. So there is a close association. The third is your O in the majors, A, J, O. So the O stands for other systemic conditions. So xerostomia has also seen its association with diabetes mellitus, probably as a consequence of polyuria. Also it is seen in HIV patients or in sarcoidosis, in cystic fibrosis cases, so many conditions like that. Also in various vitamin A, riboflavin, nicotinic acid deficiencies and anemias also. Now next in the majors, that is we have discussed A, J, O, and then is R, and R stands for radiotherapy. Now this radiography of the head and neck tumors is actually a very devastating and distressing cause of xerostomia. Now what happens is that post radiation or post radiotherapy, when the radiation is taken, so these affect partly the vascularity of the gland. These x-rays, they reduce the vascularity of the gland, and they also at the same time, when the direct x-rays hit the glands, they damage the highly sensitive and the highly specialized secretory cells, epithelial cells. Okay, that causes your xerostomia. Also, these X-ray does not cause any direct effect on the teeth, on the periodontal tissues, but anything which happens to the teeth, or these are due to or solely due to the reduction in the salivary flow or due to xerostomia. Okay, and the last S in the majors is your surgical desalivation, which is nothing but any kind of surgery or any trauma to the salivary gland ducts which impairs your blood flow or nerve flow, or may damage the duct or the gland itself and results in impaired secretion. So that is known as a surgical desalivation. That is any destruction to any of the nerve supply or blood supply of the gland, resulting in the decreased salivary flow and then resulting to xerostomia. So these are all about your permanent causes for xerostomia.